What's your secret? You got the kind of vibe that leaves men speechless. It could be model multitasking genius. Yeah, you got it all.
So welcome back to Breakthrough Conversations with Rhoda and Company, the podcast, guess what, where we honor real stories. We tell the truth here, and there's radical truths, and the transformative power of women, especially black women in today's climate. There's a real big emphasis on that. So today, we're joined by Tangela Williams Spann. Thank you, Tangela, for joining me. She's a fierce mental health advocate, storyteller. She's a self-published author of 2 books. One of them is Sad, Black, and Fat, Musings from the Intersection, and Brazen, Black, and Free, with a background in education and social work. Tangela brings not just her professional experience, but her lived truth to the forefront. She's challenging stigmas, she's confronting silence, and she's creating space for healing. Whether she's writing, whether she's speaking, or showing up on social media, Tangela's mission is clear, and it is to educate, it is to empower, it is to enlighten, it is to inform others by standing in their story. So in this episode, we're going to be talking to Tangela about what it means to be seen, to heal in public, and to write your way to freedom. So let's dive in. Welcome, Tangela.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you coming all the way here. I appreciate the connection we made on social media. There's room for everyone. I just appreciate you. You didn't know me, I didn't know you. You responded to a post I made, and here we are. So I appreciate that. So I love the titles of your books.
Yes.
Like, they're real. Like the Sad, Black, and Fat, Musings from the Intersection. What inspired this title?
Well, I was just thinking about how to organize the book at first, because I have essays that talk about my mental health journey, and I have essays about being Black, and I have essays that talk about my weight loss journey. So it's like, okay, Sad, Black, Fat. There you go.
Yes. You put it into buckets. Yeah. What about the other one, Brazen, Black, and Free?
It was sort of the same idea, but I wanted to show how much I had grown since that book, because the first book was written before the pandemic. And then the second one, it starts pretty much when the pandemic started and goes from there.
Right.
So just in that short span of time, I wanted to show how much difference you can make if you really wanted to.
Yes, that's powerful and inspirational. What inspired you on the first book, Sad, Black, and Fat, Musings from the Intersection? What inspired you to share your story in a public way?
Well, I was blogging anyway, and my little blog didn't get too much attention, which was fine. I was just getting things out. And so I was just putting things together, and then the pandemic hit. And so I'm at home looking at all this stuff. It's like, I have a pretty good little body of work here. Maybe I can put it together and maybe help somebody else. And so that was the original inspiration for the book.
That's usually the inspiration behind books, is that you're really just trying to help somebody, and they can learn from your journey, from your story, from your resiliency. I'm glad you wrote it, and to the point you just made, getting things out. I am an author as well, and it felt so free once you finished to get all of that out. So, and I also am not, really focused on the huge following, the big crowd. If they come, praise God. But if I can just help one somebody, mission accomplished.
That's right.
Yeah. So what has surprised you most in the process of telling your truth through writing?
The thing that surprised me the most was that, hey, when I let people read the book, it's like, you're telling a lot of your business here. Are you okay with that? It's like, well, I wouldn't have done it if I wasn't okay with it. But I was surprised at how people were surprised for me. It's like, I'm okay. This stuff can't hurt me anymore. I've released it. It's fine. But people were really like, ooh, girl. I was okay.
Right. And it gives others permission and space, and it helps them to feel safe to tell their truth, to share their stories, because we all have them. We all have a story.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So your book it sits powerfully at the intersection of mental health and race and body image. So all 3 very important, relevant topics today. How have those intersecting identities shaped your experience and your voice as a writer and an advocate?
Well, most people don't think about having all of those buckets filled at one time.
Right.
You're either a woman or
Mm-hmm.
you're a fat person
Mm-hmm.
or you're black. You're never all three.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So when I use my voice as all three, I'm coming from that background of being a fat black woman. And that looks different from,
Mm-hmm.
say, a skinny
Mm-hmm.
white woman.
Mm-hmm.
That absolutely looks different
Yes.
just from the way people look at you, from the way people talk to you,
Mm-hmm.
just from the way you have to present yourself to be
Yes.
seen as somebody worth being spoken to.
Yes.
And so that just shapes your entire worldview.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't have a choice but to come at it from this angle because
Right.
this is my lane.
This is your experience.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna try to be in anybody else's lane. That's not
Right.
my business.
Right.
So I'm gonna be over here speaking my truth
Mm-hmm.
from that lens. And
Yes.
I hope people get that.
You know, that's a real, if you think about it, that's a whole little niche and movement
Mm-hmm.
that can happen. We have several, and I know when I say, I call myself fat all the time, and my friends say, stop saying it. It's the truth. And
It
guess
is.
what? When I
Mhm.
say it, I take the power of the negative stigma
Yes.
away from it.
That's right.
So we have several black fat girls that's going to grow up to probably be black fat women, and they're
Mhm.
going to have to walk in that experience.
Yeah.
So it is, I think, very powerful and a positive thing to share these stories, to even offer insights to the younger ones before they
Mhm.
have to experience the things we've experienced, so that they can learn how to navigate that. And
Mhm.
guess what? The way I look on the outside doesn't define my value
That's right.
that I bring to the world. So I think it's a very powerful, and you're onto something. You're onto something here.
Oh yeah. And I
Mhm.
try to show that in
Mhm.
my own life because I have a niece. She
Mhm.
just turned 5.
Mhm.
She's a little dark,
Right.
beautiful chocolate little girl.
Mhm.
And I tell her all the time, "You are so cute. You are
Mhm.
so pretty. You look at you
Right.
showing out."
Right.
And then she's gotten to the point where she'll say that to herself.
Mhm.
She's like,
Mhm.
"Ain't Tangie, I'm cute." It's like, "Yes,
Yes.
you are, babe."
Yes.
I didn't do that when I was little.
Right.
And so I think it's so great that she's gotten that already, and
Mhm.
nobody can take that from you.
That is so true. Because guess what? I was told the opposite.
Mhm.
You ugly. I've
Yeah.
actually had, and I'll never forget, it's still very hurtful to this day because it came out of nowhere. I was outside playing by myself. I was like 13 or 14, and he was a family friend. He
Mhm.
walked over to me and he leaned down and whispered in my ear, and he said, "You're an ugly little girl, and don't you ever forget it."
Ooh.
And to this day, that still hurts my feelings. And I
Um,
believed it.
of
And I've
course.
heard it several times. Even when my mom would be combing my hair, "Will you sit your ugly ass?" And I know
Mhm.
parents don't realize the words have power, and you
Yes.
carry that with you. And so, shoot, I'll be 55 in June,
Mhm.
and I still struggle with seeing beauty
Yep.
when I look in the mirror.
Yep.
So it's a real thing. And it's really good that you're telling your niece that now,
Mhm.
because guess what? She's believing that.
Mhm.
And so it's important that we hear those positive words of affirmation.
Yes.
So, what do you wish more people understood about mental health in the Black community, especially when layered with other aspects of identity?
Well, the first thing is I want them to understand that it's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, stop arguing about it.
Right.
Mental health is physical health.
Yes.
It's not just, oh, she's having one of her episodes.
Mhm.
Well, it has a name
Right.
and it usually has a treatment.
Yes.
And I understand that sometimes cost is prohibitive
Mhm.
in our community,
Mhm.
but there are resources out there if you make the effort to go find them.
Yes.
There are ways to get help, even
Mhm.
if it's low budget help.
Mhm.
It's better than nothing.
Right.
And you do
Right.
not have to sit and wallow in whatever you're going through.
Mhm.
There's help out there if you look for it.
Right. There's no need to suffer in silence.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've dealt with some mental health issues personally myself, growing up under all the trauma that I
Mhm.
inherited.
Yes.
But I also have my oldest son who was diagnosed about 15 years ago with bipolar and psychosis, but he was a drug user. So
Mhm.
that was an issue. But mental illness does run in our DNA.
Yes.
And it's a real thing. And he did not want to take his medicine. So as a
Oh.
result of that, he's had a really hard road. He ends up in
Mhm.
and out of prison. He's in prison to this day. But to your point, there's usually a treatment. And you
Mhm.
can live a productive, successful life
Yeah.
if you choose
To
to take the path of treatment.
That's right.
So it's real. To your point, it's real. And in our community, we don't like to acknowledge that. We do not.
No.
It's like taboo. We don't want to talk about
No,
it.
and especially when you get church involved too. They'll
Mm-hmm.
say, well, we'll just pray about it. It's
Right.
like, okay, but God gave us these experts
Yes.
that have these degrees and
Yes.
licenses
Yes.
to help.
Yes.
He gave us this medicine to help.
Right.
It's right there. But
Right.
you're being obtuse about it.
Right.
So, okay.
Yeah. Because it's first natural, then spiritual. And my father-in-law, God rest his soul, he passed away a few years ago. And when my oldest son, Lil James, was acting out and having these episodes, my father-in-law didn't want to accept it because he was a pastor and walked by faith and not by sight.
Right.
And he was like, sister, he is not crazy. He is not this. I said, well, you go see. And he did. he did get to experience them that way. I can laugh about it today because guess what? I'm healed.
That's right.
So you worked in education and social services,
Yes.
specifically in the foster care sector, and now you're stepping even more into writing your voice. How have your past roles informed your current work as an author and an advocate?
Well, if anything, it makes me a more concerned advocate for those that don't have a voice.
Right.
Because I was a special education teacher. And so there's a lot of people there that need someone to be their voice because they're honestly an ignored population.
Yes.
Because they decide, oh, they can't talk or they can't write or something like that. But that doesn't mean they don't understand what you're saying.
Right.
They can't get across maybe in a way that you would understand. But if you take the time and learn their way of speaking,
Right.
you can communicate just fine.
Right.
Because I know I've had kids that were nonverbal and we have a time.
Right.
We have such a good time
Right.
with these shady looks
Yes.
and girl, stop. But
Right.
but that's just one thing. And then with foster care kids, they really feel left out. They really feel like no one cares about me. And they
Right.
really need someone to be a champion for them as well. And so that was my role as a caseworker. It's like, I know you've had a lot going on. I know you've had these traumas and all of this going on, but I, at the very least, see you. I acknowledge you. I care about you.
Yes.
So let me help you while I can.
Yes.
And so that has really, really helped me to see that I'm needed. This is where I need to be. This is my mission, is to be a voice for people that don't have one.
That is so powerful. It made me reflect back to when I grew up in low-income housing project in St. Louis. And there was a lady named Miss Madison that lived across from us. And she would always take in foster kids. And she took in at least 2 that she kept. I don't know if she ever adopted them, but until they became adults, they were there. And I became really close with one of them, and I've been looking for her high and low. I was like, St. Louis can't be that big now. I know she here, and I want to find her. But yes, those foster parents really make a difference in their lives if they land with the right healthy family.
That's right.
And then to the point you made, that your experience and what you've seen in the education system, specifically around special education, has caused you to care even deeper as an advocate.
Yes.
Yes. And then now they're like integrating special ed into regular classrooms, right?
Yes.
So then they have the chance of, in my opinion, of not being seen even more.
Yeah, and that has its ups and downs because I can think of some kids that integration will be fine. Great, beautiful idea. But there's some kids that aren't ready for it yet.
Right.
Instead of just forcing everybody all at once and making a big problem for, say, a giant class of kids, let's keep a few of them, let's do this little by little.
Right.
Integration is fine, but let's take our time about it. Don't just jump in both feet.
Right. And to the point you made about them having a voice and them being a voice for them, that's something else that, to the point I was making earlier, that this is a niche that we as Black African Americans need to take more responsibility for and be the voice for those that don't have a voice. And remember, you were saying, I can still interact with this person just because they're nonverbal. We all, for those of us who do have pets, I have a little dog, and they don't talk, but we communicate.
Exactly.
Right. And they still have feelings. These kids that are nonverbal, they still have emotions.
Yeah.
And to your point, they still have comprehension.
They sure do.
So Well said. So, what was your experience like in it was a Lovey's Book Academy?
Yes.
And how is that shaping your third book?
Yes. Yes. The, the Book Academy was so informative and
Mhm.
so cool. Like every week we would get on the Zoom and, she would have music playing at
Right.
first before she came
Mhm.
on, and she would lovingly drag us to
Mhm.
admit, just make us get motivated,
Mhm.
and just to tell us that, hey, your mission is to tell your story. And if you are not doing that,
Mhm.
you are ignoring God's mission for you. And
Right.
how dare you?
Right.
You were, this is your story to tell.
Right.
This is
Right.
your mission.
Mhm.
Don't keep it to yourself.
Right.
And I really took that to heart. And
Mhm.
so just being in that experience in that community,
Right.
you're still a part of the
Mhm.
community.
Mhm.
Even after the classes are over, we can
Right.
still take master classes over the course of
Mhm.
the year.
Mhm.
And it's just really good being a community with other authors that are,
Yes.
she calls us budding bestsellers.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so we're coming up together and working together on these books, and it's just a really nice community to be a part of.
That is really nice. I had never heard of it.
Yes.
Yes, I'm learning there's this whole community and area and things and opportunities in the author world.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if someone was to ask you, Tangela, what is your story? Like if we were sitting waiting on a bus and the
Okay.
bus was coming in 5 minutes, what would you share with me that you want me to know about your journey?
I would say that things have been hard.
Mm-hmm.
Things have been complicated.
Mm-hmm.
The road got a little muddy,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm still here.
Right.
I'm still right here with you telling it.
Mm-hmm.
And I look forward to adding more chapters to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so looking forward to it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
even with my third book I'm working on,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be different from those, but
Right.
still the same because it's still me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still here. I'm still surviving.
Mm-hmm.
I get knocked down, dragged down, all
Mm-hmm.
that, but you still stand up. You dust
Right.
yourself off, you move on.
Mm-hmm.
And there's really a lot of strength in that
Right.
I think a lot of people don't realize they even have.
Mm-hmm.
But that's somewhere to start.
Right.
It's somewhere to hang your hat,
Right. What's one adversity you faced? Tell me a story around that and how you overcame it.
Oh gosh, I think the biggest adversity I've faced recently
Mm-hmm.
has been my health,
Mm-hmm.
because I've gotten a lot of big scary diagnoses
Mm-hmm.
over the
Mm-hmm.
past 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
and I've just been like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is what we're working with.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Right.
how do I do that? And
Mm-hmm.
I've
Right.
just been looking for
Mm-hmm.
my support groups,
Mm-hmm.
my family, my church family.
Yes.
Who can I lean on?
Mm-hmm.
And accepting the help, because that's
Right.
really
Right.
my
Yeah.
issue, is
Mm-hmm.
not just standing alone, because I
Right.
know hyper independence is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you consciously know that,
Right.
but are you going to do anything about it?
Right.
Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
But that's been my biggest struggle, is to ask for help and
Right.
accept the help when it's offered, because that's
Right.
a two-part deal. And
Yes.
so that is my struggle right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
day to day, but I'm
Right.
getting there.
What are some tips or strategies you're leaning into that's helping you overcome that asking piece and then accepting?
I have to put my pride on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Just have to say, you know what? This is going to work out for the greater good in the
Mm-hmm.
long run.
Mm-hmm.
So just go ahead and do it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no shame in it. That's a big piece.
Right.
There's no reason
Right.
to be ashamed of asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
You just go ahead and do it, and then it's over.
Yes.
If you just go ahead and do it, it's
Right.
over.
Right.
And then once you've done it, you get the help you need, hopefully.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
then you have to really talk yourself
Mhm.
down, because you
Mhm.
talk yourself up, you got to talk yourself
Right.
down.
Right. You strike me as someone that really cares deeply for other people and you're there for
Mhm.
them,
Yes.
but then you're not caring for self.
Mhm.
So you can only be as good of a blessing or big of a blessing for others as you are blessed.
Yes.
So it's important to first take care of self.
Yes.
Yeah. So what are your hopes for your next book and your overall mission as a writer?
My biggest mission as a writer is to help anybody that wants it,
Mhm.
to let people know that these are universal problems, that we don't have to suffer in
Mhm.
silence. We
Mhm.
all have a voice.
Right.
We all have something to say, and we don't have to sit next to each other and both be hurting and just be sitting next to each other hurting. We can talk about it. It might not fix anything, but it'll at least feel a little bit better to make that connection.
Right.
And that's what I want to do. I want to be able to help make that connection.
These stigmas, sad, Black, fat, etc. What does freedom look like for you now?
The freedom looks like for me to not let those bother me. It's like, you know, I've been sad. Some days I am. I'm Black's not going away.
Right.
The fat's probably not going away either. It's like, okay, oh well, I'm still going to be happy.
Right.
I'm still going to go out and have fun. I'm still going to wear what I want. I'm still going to do what I want. And if you have an issue with it, that's a you problem.
That's right. That's a you problem. Did you see my post I posted the other day?
Which one?
About loving yourself the size you are now.
Yes, I did see
and
that.
For our viewers, I just want to say this. This dawned on me. I was trying to do the weight loss injection. Didn't like the side effects. Started impacting my kidneys.
Oh no.
Don't need that. And I was still fat. I was like, I'm gonna have kidney problems and I'm still fat.
No.
So I stopped doing the weight loss injections, and then I told myself, I said, Rhoda, there's not been a day that I can remember where I didn't think about my weight. So I feel like I've robbed myself of joy in moments where I could have been experiencing life to its fullness and just being happy. So I'm going to read this for our viewers, and then I'm going to make a comment. I have a couple more questions for you.
Okay.
For our viewers and those that may be dealing with any of these stigmas, and specifically around your weight, I've learned that loving yourself isn't something you do after you lose the weight, or after you land a job, or after you hit that goal. It's something you choose right now in the body you're in with the life you have. Whether, I'm rocking my yellow glasses. Today I'm rocking blue. When I have a mic in my hand, whether I'm laughing, etc. I am going to love myself now, and you all should do the same. And I'm so glad to hear that you're leaning into that as well. My grandmother's still living. My mom has passed on. My grandmother will be 93 in August. And the older generation, they say whatever comes to mind. And that's also attributed to my stigma and the way I view myself. Growing up, my grandmother would say, you really big boned, you really gaining the weight. And so she kept constantly. And so since I've been an adult, she will say, you still trying to lose weight? You still working out? And so she's in a nursing home. And she has dementia. And some days she don't even know who we are. But she always comment on my weight. So recently I went to see her. And she looked me up and down like she always do. You still trying to lose weight? I say, Mama. We call her Mama. I said, I'll be trying probably until I exit Earth. I say, but I've decided I'm probably going to be chubby for the rest of my life. And if I die and come back, I'm probably going to still be chubby. Oh, girl, shoot, you can lose that weight. Obviously, it's in my DNA. Whatever causes obesity and causes our body to hold on to fat, I got it. So everything I've tried to fight it, you lose it, it come right back. The doctor told me, have you ever thought that your body is comfortable at that size? That's the size it wants to be at. And we keep fighting it. So how do you, Tangela, stay grounded while doing work that's so deeply personal?
I stay grounded. I spend time with my family, spend time with little kids, because kids will keep you grounded, whether you want them to or not. They'll let it out. And speaking of grounding, just going outside, because I like to garden. So just get some time. I like to go out early in the morning when it's quiet and just, I don't like to wear shoes. And so I'm rubbing my feet in the grass,
connecting
I'm touching
with
the
earth.
dirt. I make a point to do that because it keeps me centered. It keeps me focused. So it's like, okay, even when I'm looking at my plants, it's like, if God can take this and make that, he's working on me too. So it's like, it's a reminder every day. So it's like, okay, we still growing. We still progressing. Okay.
Growing and glowing.
Amen.
So what message do you want to leave with others who may be navigating similar journeys, whether it's mental health, identity, or healing?
my main message is you're not alone. And it might feel like it. It might even kind of look like it sometimes. But even, especially now with the internet, we're all connected one way or the other.
Yes.
We all have a computer in our pocket.
Yes.
And most of the time we're looking at it anyway. So, hey, there are groups online. There's, Facebook groups or Twitter or whatever you're using.
Right.
You can just search a hashtag and find people in the same boat as you.
Yes.
And just to talk about it. You might, like I said, you might not come up with a solution, but just to talk about it, just to get it out, because keeping it in will kill you.
It will. It will. And this is such a perfect topic, even though my podcast platform is all about leadership. I think we're leaders first of our own life.
Yes.
And then if we're not taking care of ourselves, if we're not finding the help we need, if we're not admitting even to ourselves that I need help, or that I'm dealing with something so deeply personal that I'm so afraid of sharing it with others, then we're no good to others, as I've already shared. And so the title of the podcast is Breakthrough Conversations with Rhoda and Company, and just talking about having a breakthrough. So to me, writing it, even if you don't want to publish a book, write it out, journal.
Yes.
It's a way of getting it outside of your body and getting it on something, and it's freeing. Now, if you want to be courageous, which I encourage people to do, because I think your stories can help other people. All of our stories can help one another. You and I have so much in common, just physically and some of the emotional things we've gone through. We have a lot in common. I've been able to pick that up just in our short conversation. So this topic is so perfect for this platform, in my opinion. Breakthrough Conversations with Rhoda and Company. So I just want to thank you so much, Tangela, first of all, for being an example and a model for the rest of us. We favor. Look, we are Black. We're on the thicker side.
Yes.
And you know what? I'm not sad though. I'm not sad, but I have had sad moments.
Yes.
Yes. There have been times where I have been sad. There are times where I cry in private to get it out, to release it. But as a whole, I am happy. I'm glad I'm at a point in my life where I realize, you know what? God have more for me to do on this earth.
Right.
I'm going to say it again. I say this so much. Your chances of being born are 1 in probably 400 billion. It's a big number. And if you got here, it's for a reason.
For a reason, yes.
And I want to find out, I want to do that reason. I want to live out loud. I want the Lord to be pleased with the work that I'm doing. I want to leave an impact on the earth. I want people to know I was here. And that's my mission. That's my purpose.
Yeah.
Any parting words you want to leave with our viewers?
Just to know that even if you think that nobody is with you,
Right.
I mean, you can start with me. You
Yes.
can find me online.
Yes.
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Threads most of the time.
Yes.
But even if you need to reach out just to say something anonymously, it's okay. I'll listen.
Yes. They can find you, Tangela. What's your Facebook name? Is it your first name, Tangela?
Tangela Williams Spann, author, is my Facebook tag. And then on Threads and everything else, I am T. Will Spann.
And they can purchase your books on Amazon.
Yes, that is correct.
And it's Brazen, Black, and Free. And the other one is Sad, Black, and Fat, Musings from the Intersection, Tangela Williams Spann. So Tangela's courage, it speaks your truth. Thank you for speaking your truth. But it reminds us that healing doesn't always happen behind closed doors. It often begins when we give ourselves permission to be seen exactly as we are. So your story is not only personal, but also a public act of resistance, resilience, and radical self-love. So in your words, Tangela, you said, go pick up this book, Sad, Black, Fat, and Brazen, Black, and Free, and follow her journey as she pens her next chapter. So thank you for joining. Thank you to our viewers for another breakthrough conversation, for joining us. And until next time, let's keep leading, living, and loving out loud. And remember, every breakthrough starts with a conversation. Thank you.
Hey, what's your secret? You got the kind of vibe that leaves me speechless. It could be model multitasking genius. Yeah, you got it all. Hey, what's your story? A kick-ass mom and 40 under 40. A soccer practice in your high heel glory. Yeah, you do it all.